Hi, this is David Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. Today we have something a little bit different than my usual concrete work. This is going to be an overlayment on an existing patio that had been converted to a enclosed room. So it had some slope on it initially, and we're going to use some self-leveling product. What I did is I went and got some high performance is who makes it. It's by Quikrete. Lowe's carries it, and that's what we'll be using here. Also, I have one of the representatives from High Performance, and they're going to talk a little bit about the product. His name is Brandon. He's going to be here during the whole process, kind of giving some tips and tricks on this particular product and what it can be used for. Here it is. Here's the self-leveling floor resurfacer. So what we did to prep this floor to use is we just cleaned it really well with some water, mops, and a wet vac, and then we put some glue on here, 2 parts glue to 1 part of water was the mixture, and then I spread that around the day before, and then I put one more coat of the glue the morning of the day we were going to put the product down. And as you've seen there with that gravel, I poked a bunch of holes in that, and then I rinsed the gravel really clean with the water hose, and it ran pretty dirty for a few minutes. So once that water started coming clear out of the gravel, it was ready to use. We're going to actually add that to the self-leveling mix because we're kind of deep on one end of this floor. Now we're leveling the room out right now. I put my laser level up in the middle of the room, and I've went around and just marked on the walls, and then I've measured down to the height that I want. Right now the laser level's set up in the middle of the room, and it's just rotating 360 degrees. And this is my receiver, and what it does is it has a solid beeping sound when you're at the right level, and it'll let you know if you have to go up or down by arrows on the front of the display of the receiver. So you just move that up and down until you get a steady line across it, and then you know your level. I have these red lens glasses on here because you can actually see the red line indoors with these glasses on a lot better than with just the naked eye. Although this room was a little bright and it didn't work that well, so I still had to use the receiver. So it looks like at this coming out this door here of the house into this enclosed patio room, we were flush at the entrance coming out the door, but at the far end we were about 1.5 inch slope in this 12-foot span here. So pretty drastic. And we're gonna just level the room out. I'm going to snap some lines on here. Even though it's a self-leveling, I'm going to snap some lines just to kind of verify that it's flowing where I want it to flow. This is my first time using the High Performance product for self-leveling. I've used some other ones in the past, but this is the first time for this one. But I'm assuming that it's pretty much the same as any self-leveling overlayment. So I'm going to kind of use my same technique I use on all of them. Well, you can see there it's pretty deep on this end, and that's why I've got that gravel. I've got some 3/8 minus gravel, and I've already cleaned that really well. I punctured a bunch of holes in the bag and then just ran the water hose through it. And that's how I clean it without having a screen or anything like that. I mean, I just use what I have there, and I just use the bag for my screen basically. Now here's how I applied the glue. I just dumped it on there and spread it around with a soft brush. And this is the day before, so I'll let that dry overnight, and then I'll put one more coat in the morning. You can get away really with just one coat and that's it, but I had some time, so I went ahead and put 2 coats on this. That red that you see there is actually the chalk dust from snapping the lines. And Brandon will be talking about this product real soon here. Hi, I'm David Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. What we're going to do today is do an overlay on this existing patio. This patio was initially an outdoor patio, and this structure wasn't here. So it had a natural slope on this patio of 1.5 inches just to get the rain and the runoff away from the house. And now that it's enclosed, they've decided that they don't like the flooring level, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna level the floor in there, and they're gonna put some flooring over the top. But here's what we're gonna use. First of all, we're gonna get the floor real clean, which we already did. Then we're gonna dilute this, 2 parts glue, 1 part water, and we're gonna spread it out over the floor. Then I did 1 coat yesterday. We did another coat this morning. This is the product we're going to use, and I believe this can go up to 2 inches, right? 2 inches thick?
Correct. This product here will go from 1/4 inch to 2 inches. Anything past 1 inch, you're going to want to add aggregate, which we did here. We have some of the Quikrete all-purpose gravel.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is exactly what we're going to do here. Even though we're only going up 1.5 inches, as you can see down here on this line, we're going to still add some gravel to it just to extend the distance this product's going to go. It's 1.5 inches at the bottom and it's 0 at the top. So when we get up to about 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, we'll delete the gravel out of the mix and we'll just use the product only. So it's still flowable and you don't have aggregate sticking up. So this is all prepped out, and this is Brandon with Quikrete. He's one of the representatives, and he'd like to say a few words about this product.
So as he said, this is our self-leveling floor resurfacer. This is a fast-setting product. Exactly what we're doing here is we are resurfacing this flooring. What we're going to do is, as we said, we're going to mix up some of the product. We're going to start in the corner here and work our way across in a nice even strip. When we're working, we want to start about 4 to 6 inches away from the corner. We're going to pour our initial pour, running the length. Next pour, once we reach the end, we're going to come back about 10 inches to a foot and make our next pour, and we're going to work our way. And as he said, once we get to that range where we're about 3/4 inch thick, we're going to delete the gravel, then we'll finish it out through the rest. A little bit more about the product. This product will reach 1,800 PSI in 24 hours and 5,500 PSI after 28 days. So it is an extremely strong and durable product.
All right, sounds good, Brandon. Let's take a look at the staging area and how we're going to get this product in here as quickly as possible, because it's important to get it in here fast. You have a limited amount of time of flowability. So we've cut a lot of corners off of the mixing time. Let's take a look at our staging area. So we've already opened up all the containers we're going to be using for this. And what I did, and it doesn't really say to do it, but I actually dry mixed the buckets with the paddle mixer. These have already been pre-mixed dry, just to make sure it's consistent. Now, as far as the water and the gravel we're going to be adding, instead of measuring, every bucket and adding water, what I did was I simplified it. And I've already pre-measured this amount of water, and actually they recommend 4 quarts water, but I go 4.5 to 5 quarts, per bucket. And what's nice about this is when I added my water, my 4.5 quarts, this line at the bottom of the Lowe's label was right exactly at 4 3/4 quarts water. So That's the nice part about it. I don't have to measure my water again. All I got to do is add the water till I see it at this line, and that's good enough for these 50-pound pails. Now on the gravel end of it, see my ball pen marker, magic marker, that's the gravel lines. These two items, the gravel and water, goes into each bucket until we get to the 3/4 inch, and then no more gravel. Same amount of water, no more gravel. Also on the gravel does absorb some water, so what you want to do before you start introducing gravel is get it wet. Like if you rinse it the day before, you want to saturate it again in the morning so it gets the water in there. Otherwise, that 5 quarts of water, it's going to be a lot different because a lot of water will go into the gravel. You're not going to get the flowability. So keep the gravel wet before you add it, and that's all you have to do.
So this is our product that we're going to be using today here at this job. It is a self-leveling floor resurfacer. This is a fast setting material for exactly what the name is, resurfacing any type of flooring. This can be used interior and exterior. This product is available at Lowe's, in every Lowe's home improvement here. And you're going to want to mechanically mix it, so we're going to be mixing it by drill. When adding the water and the gravel, we're going to want to mix it for about 4 minutes. And we want the RPMs to be set right around 250 to 500 RPM. Anything faster than 500 RPM is going to start introducing air to the product. And if you're doing a coating over the top flooring, it's not going to matter too much. However, if this is the flooring that you're going to see, you want to mix it at that slower speed. That way we don't have any air bubbles built into it. So let's mix up some product and see how it looks.
Here we are. Now we went to the GoPro here just to show you a little first person action on the actual mixing. What we're doing is we're adding the water to the bucket first, and then we add the powder slowly, and also the gravel simultaneously. I ended up going with the 4.5 quarts water, although it says to go with 4 quarts. But by going with the 4.5, you do risk a slight chance of shrinkage cracks, possibly. I didn't notice any in this one, but that's the worst case scenario. And it's not that bad of a thing anyway. But what it also does by adding that little bit more water is it gives you buys you a little more time. Better flowability. Also, if there is air bubbles in your mix, they're a lot more likely to come out instead of getting trapped in a thicker type consistency mix. So a little bit more water does wonders, I think, in this situation, especially when you got direct sunlight coming through all these windows. That's gonna this stuff sets up quick. Here we are starting to pour it in. I already have the gravel in this mix. That red you noticed on the floor was the chalk residue from the chalk lines that got mixed in with the glue, so that's not going to cause a problem at all. It's all mixed into the glue itself, which came in real handy because I could actually see where I was putting the glue and where it went. So I ended up having a dyed glue basically. And now by mixing, what we did is when we pre-mixed all these dry buckets in the dry mix, a lot of benefits to that we noticed as we went through this. And what we noticed is just from the movement shipping in the buckets, it has a tendency to get really dry packed in those buckets. So as you stir them up dry, it fluffs it up, and it's much easier to pour out of the bucket into the water, which is a really nice thing to know when you start mixing using this type of stuff. You can use this on over a lot of surfaces. You just have to add wire and things like that if you're going over wood, like lath or something like that. There's a lot of uses for this. This is good for outdoors as well. On the directions, it doesn't really say to touch it like what I'm doing here. I'm using my trowel just like I always do when I do concrete work. What that does, even though it's not recommended and you don't really have to do it, what I think it does is it moves it quicker and gets it where you want it to go faster. So You're saving a lot of time by having the product just run on its own. You're getting it halfway there a lot quicker. So that's why I do it. I just kind of give it a little help flowing right out the gate. Now I still have some gravel in the mix, and what I found out is that you got to get that gravel out of there a lot sooner when you get into these thin areas, because I had a few pieces of gravel that didn't go down in the thin areas, and it turned out not to be such a big deal anyway, because I just ground them down real quickly the next morning and they just disappeared. But I mean, that's because I have those tools. I have the grinder, I have the diamond, blade and all that. But if you don't have that, it's probably good just to get the gravel out sooner and buy more product, in other words. Here's what it looks like. It's really smooth in the deep areas, especially where it was really flowable. It's as smooth as glass. There's no ridges or bumps. You can kind of see the overlaps and stuff, but although they look like they're not level, they actually are. It's just some water residue from the overlapping of the different buckets and what have you. This is 2 hours later, and we're taking a look at this, and you can see it's hard enough to stand on as long as we don't twist our feet at this point. And there's a couple little defects here and there, but it's nothing major. I mean, this floor is great right now to cover with carpet. You could do even hardwood flooring over this, anything you want on top of this floor at this point. It's within about a 1/8 inch tolerance, I'd say, everywhere. Although, I'm not completely satisfied with it from my point of view, because I'm kind of picky, but this is what I do. If I go over it, I just take a nice trowel like this, which is fairly sharp. It's probably as sharp as a razor knife at this point because it's well used. So here's what I like to do. If I see a ridge I don't like, you can see how easy this stuff cuts. And you can really shape it pretty nicely right now. Now, it got a nice flat edge on it. As you can see when I laid the trowel on this way, it's pretty flat. So I'm cutting any ridges that may be on here. It's pretty simple. You can see the material I just generated, and that made it really flat. Also on these edges, see how it feathered out here? And I've got some splatters, little splatters just from putting the product down. Well, it's easy to get off. See that? Or I can go this way. Right now you can cut it. So at that stage where you can cut it down and get a really clean surface. See, now there's no more excess. Well, what do you think about that, Brandon, that technique?
I definitely think it worked out fairly well. Let's take a look right here in this spot. So this is the spot that we haven't touched up. You can see the nice smooth finish. Again, important, like we were saying earlier, when mixing it, you want to stay in that 200 to 500 RPM range. We did a pretty good job staying there. We only have maybe 1 or 2 bubbles, so you guys could take a look as what we were describing a little bit earlier. That may have been an air bubble there, but like I said, coming out really, really nice here. Where we had some of those spots where our pores may have overlapped. As you can see, like he was saying here, is maybe an 1/8 inch difference, if that. But that's where we're coming around with the trowel, just giving it a nice little scrape. If you're putting carpet or any type of flooring, like he's saying, not too big of a deal.
Some of these little defects could be due to the aggregate, like I'm seeing some little bumps here. That's probably the aggregate. Might be just a tad bit high, but it's still great for carpet. I may use my grinder and hit a couple of these spots in the morning, once it's gotten a little bit more durable, so that gravel doesn't fling out when I start running the grinder over. But take a look right here. We got in a thin area over here, and I should have pulled the gravel out of the mix a little bit sooner, but I didn't. And we've got gravel. See it here? sticking up a little bit. That's gonna knock down really quickly with my diamond grinder that I have. So I'm looking at a 5-minute pass right in this area and good to go. So that's something to remember in the future. Get the gravel out of there when you get down to the thin areas, and then you'll end up with something like this. See, in the deep area where we had the gravel in it, the gravel settled to the bottom, and you can see this is as smooth as glass. No ridges, no bumps, nothing. And then you get over here where we got to the thin area where we still had the gravel in the mix. There was not enough depth to hide the gravel here. So in the future, we're gonna pull the gravel out a lot sooner.
Also, if you want to take a look, being the self-leveling product we were talking about earlier, the slope of this slab, where it's a little bit lower here and higher in some spots. If you take a look at the chalk line, our product stayed right at that perfectly level state.
Yeah, this was all shot in with a laser level, and the product definitely flowed level as it suggested. So it's right at that chalk line all the way around. So the end result turned out good. Everybody was happy with the outcome. I have to say thanks to Brandon for coming out here. He was actually a great help. He jumped right in and jumped on a paddle mixer the whole time. Also, when talking with him, I was able to squeeze out some discounts from him. So anybody that happens to see this on YouTube, this video, and they want to use any of the high performance products, there's going to be, his email is going to come up on the screen, Brandon's email. So you can email him directly and work out a discount for any of the products that you need. Well, I'm not sure what that discount is. It's going to be worth calling him, I have a feeling. So anyway, don't forget, and we're going to have his contact info, his email, direct email to him in case you do want to use any of these products that they have. They have a pretty big line, extensive line of stuff. And here's his link, or his email actually. So that's how you can contact him to set up a discount on any of the products. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.